get 50% cushion, government leads support for the vulnerable, and Zim technical team engages ESCOM. So those were the headlines. So now for the news in detail. Tony.
Government leads support for the vulnerable. Is that our lead story today?
That's our lead story. This is part of the stories that are making the headline in the Herald.
Okay. The government has remained the major provider of support to vulnerable communities in need of food assistance countrywide. The 2019 Zimbabwe Vulnerable Assessment Committee report has revealed of vulnerable households that received food assistance in 2018-2019, 56% received support from the government, 30% from NGOs and the United Nations, 3% from churches, 16% was from relatives within the rural areas, and 18% of this was from relatives within the urban, and 11% was from remittance outside the country. Why do I feel this is a political statement?
It is. Sounds more like it, actually, with the figures and everything.
If you look at the figures, it looks like the government has done the quickest part of assistance.
But isn't it supposed to actually do that?
Yeah, of course, but is that a matter of fact that government has been the major player as far as assisting rural community, and after the several friends and the guys in the urban, and then
Of course, this comes after the government and health workers have been, not...
What is pensionable salaries? I'm always I'm to the details. So they
Welcome back, viewers. Thank you so much for watching Take Meg TV. Before we went to the break, we're talking about the Herald. So those were the major headlines making the Herald. So now we move on to the Newsday. Outlets, please, Tony.
Where Chiwenga's wife married for 700,000 US. 700,000 US dollars, claiming that she fraudulently obtained a divorce order against him to facilitate a marriage to the army commander. According to the court papers, Kaundera says 700,000 is compensation for the immovable property and a company called Lachelle Private Limited, which were awarded to Mary as a result of the divorce. And also still on the same page, I'm sure you can see there a picture of finance of Trevor Ngube. And before just analyzing the story, there's a picture of Trevor Ngube, the Alpha Media Holdings Chairman Trevor Ngube, Operating Officer Kangaya Mogoa Zwe, Information Publicity Broadcast Service Minister Monica Mtangwen, Permanent Secretary as well, and Baningi Nick Mangwana, and AMH Financial Director Brian Amposa. They touring the company's premises yesterday. I want to strongly believe that this has got interest of what we also published after news did rounds that AMH employees haven't been paid, and also AMH employees that are going half of the day without power. We are going to be very much excited to get to understand the findings, and we hope they were switched off by the time this government delegation visited the AMH offices, because news from reliable sources has said that AMH, they're actually switching off their generators during the lunchtime. So I hope during this tour they manage to also see the reality of the ZESA outages that we're having here in Zimbabwe. So yeah, now analyzing the story of former Zimbabwe Warriors striker Shingi Kaundera suing VP General VP Chiwenga 700,000 in United States dollars. He says you got my property without using proper documentation, so I'm suing you for that much. So it's going to be a very interesting development. You know,
my question is, he's saying that from this, he's saying that he never consented to the divorce. So which means yes. So which means that Mary allegedly is the one who divorced him and then took the properties and everything. Where was he? Because I understand in 2011, this is when it happened. Has he hit rock bottom and now he's looking for, you know, avenues where he can...
Well, a part of the story is that Kaundera said when his marriage to Mary was nullified, he was in Cyprus when he was playing football, and there was never a time when he signed court papers confirming receipt of someone seeking divorce by his ex-wife. The parties in this matter, Kaundera and Mary, were formally married to each other, and the parties' marriage was dissolved by a decree of divorce granted by this honorable court on May 19, 2011. So what happens with divorce is somebody divorces you, sends you papers, you have to also accept the divorce, say, you know what, I fully accept the divorce. If you don't accept the divorce, the court gives you a certain time frame for you to work around that, so that you accept, either you get a counselor to then resolve your differences, and it gives you all those rooms and chances before the court accepts that divorce. So after that certain time frame, I'm not so sure about the time frame, but after that time frame has lapsed, the court has got the mandate and the right to then actually issue a divorce paper. So now this is what he's saying, that for me I didn't sign, so technically we were not a divorce, but now there were papers that were used to do this, and the technicality in these papers is what is challenging, because those papers have been discovered to be fraudulent, so to say.
But I still feel like 8 years to process a divorce is a long time.
Yeah, definitely, but still, the papers that were used were not legally constructed. That's his battle with the whole process. I'm not sure he's not saying I still love you back or let's stick together, but those papers that gave you the power to take my property and everything else, they were wrong. They were illegally constituted, so they do not have a binding effect for him to then lose his property. I think this is a technical jargon that we're talking about right here.
Okay. All right, so moving on to the Daily News, it says government workers reject pay offer as unions declare incapacitation. That's a story from the Daily News right there, and it reads: in the face of rising prices of mostly basics, civil servants have rejected a cushioning allowance that had been offered by their employer to enable them to make ends meet. On Tuesday, union leaders had petitioned government to pay them an equivalent of at least $475 per month for the lowest paid employee. Instead, government has offered a 50% increase. So yesterday was the day when we were talking about the union petitioning the government, but apparently it's never going to happen. $475 is a lot of money.
It's never going to happen. But then I think I need to understand something about the government machinery of creating peanut butter. Let me just explain this peanut butter concept, how government creates peanut butter. So for you to create peanut butter, there's a major raw material that is needed. It's called peanuts, right? So when you get peanuts, you've got a lot of peanuts, and inside the peanut, there's always a peanut. So inside the peanut, it's this small. So you then crush a peanut. So if somebody's getting a peanut, like literally somebody gets a peanut, and then you break half of the peanut, you give them 50%. So 50% of a peanut is what government is doing. So government is very good at crushing peanuts. So they've just said 50%. That's my theory today on crushing peanuts to get 50% of a peanut before you get peanut butter.
Oh my goodness, I don't know how to feel about your theory, but okay.
I rest my case. That's how you make peanut butter. Because if you want, you can still crush the other 25%.
Yeah.
And the more you crush them, the more you get peanut butter. So this is how Zimbabwean government is creating peanut butter by civil servant salaries.
Wow.
I rest my case.
Okay. What else do you have?
From the Daily News.
From the Daily News.
Chamisa to launch mass protest. Daily News has got a thing of creating headlines out of. Okay. MDC Nelson Chamisa yesterday vowed to press ahead with mass protests despite the government warning that such a move would be faced with full wrath of the law. The resolution to unfair protest was reached last weekend, and the opposition is hoping as many as 1 million people will join the protest, which they want to use to press change in the manner Zimbabweans are being governed. The government has said the opposition would bear responsibility for any loss of life or damage resulting from the planned protest. Bullets won't stop us. Bullets won't stop us. The cry for freedom and the bullets are incapable of silencing the Democrats. They only delay but cannot deny democracy. Change is coming, and it is coming very soon. Chamisa told the Daily News. So this was an exclusive that they had with the Daily News? Okay, I thought it was a public appearance that he said, because the last public appearance, he really didn't say that. So if he said this in an interview with the Daily News, then this is definitely a different set of news altogether, so to say. Back to you, Nico.
And for news in brief, it says Japa jailed for 2 years. So this is a story that is also in the Daily News here, and in the Newsday, and also in the Herald. But we're just gonna pick the one in the Daily News. Sorry. Political activist Paddington Japa was yesterday slapped with an effective 2-year jail term after he was convicted of incitement to commit.
Do you want to make peanut butter?
But thank you, no thanks. I don't want to make peanut butter, okay, but thank you for the correction.
I thought you want to make peanut butter.
So I'll take that again. My apologies. Political activist Paddington Japa was yesterday slapped with an effective 2-year jail term after he was convicted of incitement to commit violence during last year's polls. Initially, Harare Provincial Magistrate Lenmo Mapia sentenced Japa to 3 years for the offense before suspending a year of the sentence for 5 years in condition that he does not commit a similar offense. So allegations are that on July 31, at Zimbabwe Electoral Commission Command Center, Japa unlawfully made communication to induce political violence at a presser. Japa said, and I quote, if people come to rallies, it means they appreciate the candidate. You cannot follow a candidate whom you cannot vote for. ZEC must do the right thing by announcing the proper results. Wow. Where is the incitement? That word is going to really give me problems, like serious problems. Incitement.
It's like that
word?
Yes. So it looks like each and every single day whenever we go live, we do have a word for the day. Today's word for the day is incitement. Incitement. Say incitement.
Incitement.
There you go. Today's word is incitement, and she successfully managed to say it. But I'm still here to say lakatela, sir.
Yeah. Do you honestly think that's how it's pronounced?
How is it pronounced?
I have no idea. I won't even try.
But yesterday offset, I could pronounce this word nicely. Lakatela, sir. Okay, viewers, please let us help us through. How do you pronounce that? Lakatela, tel. Wait, how do you pronounce it? RG to issue 3,000 passports a day. Oh my goodness. Not another big headline on passports. Not another big headline on passports. While issuing of passports at the Registrar General has since the beginning of the year been a major cause of concern as many Zimbabweans have failed to renew or get access to new passports. Government has promised the issue of at least 3,000 passports a day. The main consumables such as ink, glues, ribbons and films needed to produce passports are imported, and the government has delayed payments to these suppliers of the materials, hence leading to the current passport shortage crisis. Home Affairs Minister Kane Matema has however assured the nation that passport production will normalize within the next couple of weeks. Okay, within the next couple. I was waiting for that paragraph that says, okay, when? Within the next couple of weeks. The last time I was at high school, a week is 1, 2, 3, 4. Once you reach over 4 weeks, it's no longer a week, right? It's now a month. So we can simply say that in less than a month, Zimbabwe should start getting passports, and 3,000 a day are going to be printed. Good news. We live to see this day where we're going to get at least 3,000 passports being printed. Please allow these brothers who need to fly out and leave the country and come back, do it at their own free will. As for us, 2030, Nico?
Mliswa threatens action over legislators' welfare. That's another story by Blessing Mashaya from the Daily News, right there. Is it the Daily News? It's the Daily News, yes.
Definitely it's the Daily News.
Okay, so Norton independent legislator Themba Mliswa has threatened to take government to the Constitutional Court, which is the Con Court, over its failure to fulfill what they promised to the lawmakers. Mliswa told the National Assembly yesterday that the government is not respecting Parliament, and I quote, "I am told that the MPs from both ZANU-PF and MDC were told they will not get cars worth 50,000 while the government had promised 80,000. The Parliament standing rules and orders is not being respected by government, and I'm going to..." Okay, so yeah, basically that's what Mliswa is saying there. So his story, Mliswa is saying that legislators will not get cars worth $50,000 while the government has promised vehicles for 80,000. I think we did an interview when we opened Parliament with Mliswa, and he was talking about how ridiculous these cars are priced at, like the cars for MPs. They're at ridiculous amounts, and yet that amount, that they channeled the amount wrongly, and I absolutely agreed with him. I did, as he was saying, but he's not saying the same thing now, is it?
No, Mliswa has always been an advocate for MPs and making sure that they get. I don't know if my memory serves me well. He was the one who actually told Storm when he said that we need to get our cars. They're necessary too for us to do our job. So he says these are two, and then of course we had the ZANU-PF MPs saying that no, we don't really need them, and then the MDC MPs were left in the cold because already ZANU-PF MPs, once you are a ZANU-PF MP or elected MP, you just get that car, so they didn't need the car from the government, but the ZANU-PF MPs had already received cars from their party, and I think this somehow left MDC MPs in the cold over the issue. If my memory still is serves me well, I think he's always been fighting. He was at the forefront of fighting for MPs to make sure that they all get their vehicles and their cars.
But what I like about him is he's a realist.
Yeah, he is.
Most of the things that
he always comes out open. He always comes very controversial member of Parliament. He says out his mind, but here and there I do get substance. Themba, here and there you do say things that make sense. Here and there.
Okay.
Industry rules out salary increase. Zimbabwe National Chamber of Commerce, ZNCC Chief Executive Officer Mr. Christopher Mugaga has said that companies are not in a position to increase salaries without first improving productivity, which has been drastically hampered by a power outage. Mugaga said this following Finance Minister Mthulisi Nube's call during recent daily news breakfast forum on the new currency for companies in the private sector to follow government's example by raising salaries. No, I stopped reading. So, I'm sorry to say this, guys, I've stopped reading. I can't continuously read this. It doesn't make sense. I'm trying to be very much polite. So the governor, the Minister of Finance has told the private sector to increase salaries as much as the government is also increasing their peanut butter. I rest my case. Moving on to the next story.
Okay, moving on to the Daily News. They says InDriver comes to Zimbabwe. So global ride-hail startup InDriver says it has begun recruiting drivers in Harare for the service, which it intends to launch in the capital towards the end of the month. The only taxi company which the online taxi company which operates in 4 African countries, namely Kenya, Uganda, South Africa, and Tanzania, will add Zimbabwe as their 5th country. InDriver's marketing director, Yego Fedorov, said the bargain for the Fair Price taxi app, used by 26 million across more than 200 cities, announced their launch in addition to the newly safety button for both riders and drivers. So this is one of a ride-hail startup that is actually coming through. So it's like we're having a lot of Ubers. Yes?
I'm just trying to understand the difference between that and the Uber. You know, I'm sure this is a sort that we should also have on Technomag.
Yes,
yeah,
definitely.
I'm trying to understand because they're calling their service an online driver, and I'm trying to understand exactly how this then makes any difference with Uber, with Ride, Taxify, and of course on Econet Cassava's, what do you call it?
Via.
Yeah. I'm just trying to understand how this really makes a difference.
Well, they're talking about a panic button. Yeah, for both the driver. Say I'm your driver and then you cycle and I carry you. Maybe I can get out. I don't know how the panic button works.
So that's the biggest thing they're doing?
I think that's the only different thing that they're doing. Of course, maybe we also have to actually understand more, and we will be updating you what's the difference between Via and Toda. There's also Toda.
Yeah, there's also Toda.
Yeah, and then now this. So please do tune in to www.technomag.co.zw, where you will see, the finer details on which one is preferable.
I love the way you say Toda. Toda.
I know.
Is it Toda or is Toda?
I have no idea.
I
haven't actually heard.
Toda. Improve the welfare of journalists, says Minister. Information Publicity Broadcast Services Minister Monica Mchangwa has called on media houses to improve the welfare of journalists, considering considering the important role they play in disseminating information to the public. Addressing journalists after touring AMH offices in Granaside in Harare yesterday, Mchangwa said she was concerned about the current welfare of journalists in the country, which she felt was affecting their work. The welfare of journalists needs to be transformed. There's a saying that if you throw nuts, you get monkeys. Nuts keep coming. They need to be well paid, she said. I closed the court, I closed the statement, but still the nuts, even if I run away from them, they keep coming.
She said monkeys, but monkeys don't like nuts, do they?
But there's a statement that says if you throw nuts, you get monkeys. Yeah.
I don't know how to feel about it. I honestly don't know how to feel. I know, but okay. I need to breathe a second there. Okay. So moving on, it says government offers civil servants 50% cushioning allowance. I think we have done this story before.
Yeah.
So feels like we're now
overdoing
advocates
it. But of course,
for
it's
civil
all the
servants.
newspapers just running across.
Course,
And
yeah.
that's 50% cushioning allowance. Is it not the same 50% or the 50%? I don't know. What's the angle they took this time around?
Okay, so the government has offered civil servants a 50% cushioning allowance for the month of July and a salary increment of 116 RTGS dollars from August to December. But representatives of the workers rejected the proposal and immediately declared incapacitation. Yes. The offer was made during a meeting of the National Joint Negotiation Council on Tuesday, attended by representatives of government and the Apex Council. So this also comes through from the petition that they were given by the workers, and this is now a reactionary towards that, which they are going to give them 116 RTGS dollars. Oh, it's now Zim dollar, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, we can't call it RTGS. It's 116 Zim dollars.
But
Yes.
it's still RTGS. We do not have a Zim dollar.
No, we
technically,
don't.
we
Yeah,
don't.
we
Yeah,
don't.
so
But then they
it's still, is a Zim dollar?
Yes.
If it's a Zim dollar, just to trade with other foreign currency. At what rate is that?
RTGS it is.
RTGS it is.
Yes.
Mm.
So moving on.
MDC leadership summons worrying Bulawayo councillors. The MDC leadership, I think this is a story that is also trending. After this, we'll show you a quick video after this story. So let me take back the story again. The MDC leadership has summoned its Bulawayo councillors who last week faced protests from ratepayers over poor service deliveries and endless infighting among city fathers. The melee at City Hall saw a clique. I beg your pardon. The melee at City Hall saw a clique of councillors led by Deputy Mayor Tinashe Kambarani suspending Town Clerk Christopher Dube on allegation of corruptions and not another new word. Help me out. Derelicit of duty among a cocktail of allegations. The summoning of the councillors comes as Bulawayo High Court Judge Thompson Mabikwa was today set to deliver a judgment on MDC councillor and Deputy Mayor Kambarami's eligibility for council office. So this matter has not been taken to the courts.
Yes.
I thought the MDC has the capacity to deal with its own internal affairs. I'm not so sure how they've managed to take this issue all the way to the court. But of course, the Bulawayo residents have reacted. They've responded to these warfares and this infighting. We're going to give you a short video clip that's going to show you how the Bulawayo people have reacted to this infighting happening in Bulawayo.
Some Ndebele-speaking residents of Bulawayo say they have been long marginalized by the Harare government and won't allow a Shona-speaking mayor or deputy to run the city council. They have protested at the city hall, demanding their grievances be met.
Isigodlo sakamthokazi samandebele akungeka kube the chief yesishoneni koBulawayo.
But are you not the one who voted?
They didn't. There was a lot of rigging. Let me tell you the effect that Chamisa boy is a fool.
But
He's the one who did all this. We're not 50 pound. We know it.
Solomon Muguni was elected as mayor and Tinashe Kambarami as his deputy. Chabalala says President Emerson Mnangagwa and opposition political leaders have no respect for the people of Matebele land, and it's a high time they listen to them.
What we want is for the Shonas to go back to the benches and start thinking about the Mandebeles. The only best thing which I can advise, which I miss, Mnangagwa, it's fair. I advise him,
Political activists say the people of Bulawayo have a right to express their dissatisfaction with the caliber of their leaders. They should not be accused of waging a tribal war.
there is no tribal wars in Bulawayo. There are tribal discussions and tribal discourses throughout Zimbabwe. It is wrong to limit these things to Bulawayo. These things are happening everywhere, and it is because we live in a country that has got so many unhealed tribal wounds, and if we continue to skate around them and tell ourselves that these are Bulawayo issues, these are Matebele issues, we are harboring a serious problem in the future as a country.
Bulawayo used to be the industrial hub of Zimbabwe, but years of economic mismanagement by the Mugabe regime led to several companies shutting down and thousands of workers landing on the streets. Pindai Dube, Bulawayo, Zimbabwe.
Yes, of course, you have just through. I'll take it up again. Of course, we just heard the story they're coming through from Bulawayo, where Bulawayo residents took it up to the streets and they were protesting against strong, I'll use the actual words, against strong Shona presence in authority in the region. There's been protests. This is definitely on tribal lines. And I'm very much worried on such wars and warfare where they'll take us as a country. We are now strong. The similar residents coming through to say we cannot be having Shona people taking up all influential posts in our province. And this has been a strong message sent to the Bulawayo City Council. It's a threatening message to the social stability of us as Zimbabweans. It's also a threatening message to the MDC as a party, so to say. And I strongly feel that something has to be done urgently to make sure that there's a redress or an address to this matter, because we cannot go at this space. Should we or should we not have Shonas running Bulawayo based councils, or should that be a matter whether a Shona or Ndebele person should run any council of Bulawayo or Harare? So it is. I think we're going to be opening up our calls to have this issue being discussed as well. Bulawayo residents have taken to the streets to say they don't want Shona people running Bulawayo City Council or areas of authority as far as Bulawayo is concerned. We're going to be running through our number, and just at the end of this news bulletin, please guys, call him through. Let's react to this demonstration that we done yesterday, where we saw multitudes of guys coming through, storming Bulawayo City Council, saying they don't want Shonas running Bulawayo City Council. Should we say the same as well, that we don't need Ndebele people running influential posts in Harare? Or does really tribe and race matter? Is that an issue that we should be considering in this day and age? Or people should be appointed based on merit, not on tribe? We are going to be opening up our lines for this, Nicole.
Of course. So also, whilst on opening our lines, we also will be taking comments. So if you can't get hold of us, which won't happen if you try, you will get hold of us. But also tell us in the comment section what do you think. Do you think a Shona speaking person can be a mayor in Bulawayo, or do you think a Ndebele speaking person can be an effective mayor in Harare? You know. So tell us what you think. Is this just tribalism, or these guys actually have a fair point? They want representation by their people from their people. But we are all people, so. You know. So moving on to the news day there, it says tobacco sales surpasses target. Zimbabwe tobacco sales have reached 224 million kilograms, surpassing the set target of 220 million kilograms as at day 80 of the trade. Data from the industry regulator has shown. Last year, the countries produced a record of 252 million kilograms of flue-cured tobacco, generating at least 1 billion in foreign currency earnings. However, according to the Tobacco Industry Marketing Board, TIMB, sales are down 35% to 445 million from 685 million in prior period. So, sales have surpassed target, but profit hasn't exactly surpassed target. That's bad.
Yeah, unfortunately. Or unfortunately, should I say.
Yeah.
And I think also the most sad thing about this whole story is it really doesn't make sense that we surpass our target as far as production is concerned, right? But then now, when we speak also of the remuneration, that the farmers that have been toiling all the season through, they don't get to be granted or to be given what they deserve. You know, we understand that farmers are no longer being paid in full foreign currency. There was an offer to give them 50% of their products, of their output, and more so, they're also now being paid part of that payment in cash and part in RTGS Nostro accounts. But of course, the good news is that I'm sure they can all access whatever amount that is in their Nostro FCI accounts. And please, whenever, if you've got that, quickly just access it. Can I just tip you guys? Just access your money. I get excited about some of these things, so I'll move over to you, Nico, so that you get to speak about the next story.
Okay, so Gems Charm World. So from the moment that the Zimbabwean gems entered the the M&S Bank Arena in Liverpool, they have been the talk of town. Lloyd Makunde and his side have the netball world erupted and have made a World Cup debut to remember. Okay, so I think this is just a dedication to the gyms who've been doing an amazing job in Liverpool and representing the country. I believe everyone at this point is just proud. When you're Zimbabwean, you know, it's just good. It feels really good. Even Tonio feels good about being Zimbabwean.
Proud to be Zimbo.
Yeah.
Proud to be Zimbabwean.
You know.
Proud to be behind the gems. And proud to be a true Zimbabwean.
Even though he has no idea absolutely how netball is played or
I haven't even
what
watched a single game.
You see?
These guys are doing us proud.
I know.
Whatever they're doing it very well. So keep doing it. Whatever they're doing, just keep doing it very well. At least we've got some place where we have to celebrate as Zimbabweans, you know.
Yeah,
Lift
yeah.
our flag high and say, I am a proud Zimbabwean. I'm a patriot and I'm very proud of what we're doing as a nation. Because, yes, we can as Zimbabweans. Withdrawal limit review next week, says Mangunjika. Reserve Bank Governor Dr. Mangunjika said next week the central bank will review upwards bank withdrawal limits that have been pegged at $300 per week for over a year now. Dr. Mangunjika reviewed that this on sideline of an interactive meeting convened by First Lady Auxilia Mnangagwa involving monetary and fiscal authority and female church leaders over the recently introduced statutory instrument 42. I said I was going to say something. The aim of the meeting was to find ways on how the stakeholders can explain the instrument in a manner that benefit the general public. Statutory Instrument 142 of 2040 effectively ended the multi-currency system and determined the Zimbabwean dollar as the sole legal trading currency in the country, getting Zimbabweans $300 a whole week. That's an equivalent of only $30 the whole week. If they increase the limit from $300, is the cash available? Because with or without the limits, Zimbabweans still are not able to access the cash from the banks. This is a big crisis. And I strongly feel that government has deliberately done this to try and control the money supplies in the market, but this has caused an unimaginable misery to most consumers and people. Because imagine each and every single time you are forced to be by the bank because you're only getting $300 from the bank. So how many times do you have to visit your bank every week? How much time and productivity time is wasted by people who literally just queuing up for $300 every week, which is not even sustainable should you still get it. And also I think the most painful thing is the money is not even there. Okay, so, alright, if they increase to, I'm just contradicting myself right now, if they increase to say, let's say $600 a week or $700 a week, they are only paying 80% of the civil 80% of the people are civil servants. So 80% are going to be getting about $400 to $500, and they're giving us $300. And they increase to $600. That means that still the increase, even after the increase, is meaningless because you can't even access $600 because you don't even have the $600. So yeah, I've just contradicted myself there. But at least let them increase for companies, productivity, and people who've got large sums of money. I think they need to just get the money out, and then they get to do other things. At least, so to say.
So still on that Herald tip, it says First Lady commissions education hub. Victoria Falls Primary School was yesterday commissioned as the first ever model education innovation hub in the country. It also becomes the only such facility in learning institutions in Africa. It was revealed at the event. First Lady Auxilia Mnangagwa, who was recently elected the Organization of African First Ladies for Development Vice President, partnered US-based Meta Foundation and Victoria Falls Love for Africa to come up with a project through her organization, Angel of Hope Foundation. So this education hub is basically going to be offering ICT services to kids that are in Victoria Falls. Particularly the ones that are at Victoria Falls Primary School.
It's a very interesting development.
It is.
To see the first ever hub coming through to Zimbabwe. And of course, interestingly, Tier 1 as well said that they're also offering Wi-Fi services and connectivity to this community. So I think I'll be having a very strong interest in following up in this development of what it is exactly, what it means in education hub, what exactly does this mean, because that thing is the first of its kind. I think it will be very interesting to actually do a follow-up, and I think time permitting, we are actually going to visit this, of course, as Technomec, to try and understand how they're reshaping the technological sector. But either way, it's a good step forward to make sure that at least we do have a highly technological environment in Zimbabwe.
So once again, do not forget to tune in to www.technomec.co.zw so that you can see some of the projects that the government has been doing in trying to bridge the digital divide between the rural areas and the urban areas. Yes. This story is interesting.
Illegal forex vending sucks in cops. Government efforts to eliminate illegal foreign currency dealers from the streets of Harare are being hampered by the involvement of some unscrupulous police officers in the illicit trade, the Herald can reveal. Investigations by the Herald revealed that a number of detectives are now part-time foreign currency vendors offering a shield with other full-time dealers on the streets, while police officers are mandated with the elimination of crime, including illegal foreign currency dealing. Some rogue elements have decided to be part of the criminal enterprise. If I was in grade 4, I would say, I know some of those cops, I know them, I would do that, honestly, I know I know some cops that would generate foreign currency, I know them. Exactly, but still, who's not dealing with foreign currency?
I'm not.
Oh, you're not?
No.
Okay, fair enough. I'll say this openly live to Dr. Mangoj and finance minister and Turing Movin. If 80% of our industry is informal, and most of these people that bring in goods and commodities, what is the government's position to make sure that whosoever has got local RTGS exchanges that into foreign currency so that people can restock? You know, what is the policy? Where do traders, informal traders, business players, and the informal market go to change their RTGS money into RTGS? Please show me that place. When you show me that place, I'll show you cops who are changing money. That's my statements.
Are you sure you want to do that?
I'm just betting. I'll show them cops. Show me where they should have changed that money. Not sell the money. Banks are buying, I know. Every bank is buying foreign currency, but no bank is selling foreign currency. Show me a bank that's selling foreign currency. Show me an official, a formal market where you can actually give them your bonus and you get the foreign currency. Then I'll show you people are actually legally doing this. So to say.
That is, I'm afraid we all gonna die. No one is gonna find out which is which, basically. Okay, moving again to the Herald. It says illicit drugs flood Harare market. That's another story in the Herald. And I don't know, I feel like illicit drugs, they have been in the market. I don't know what's different about this now, but we also understand that there are various cases that the police, the real police, not like the money changers, they've been dealing with in the streets of Harare. Okay, so the story reads, smuggled prescription and prohibited drugs have taken Harare's informal market by storm, exposing those who have taken them to a serious health threat. The drugs, some prohibited while others are unlawfully dispensed without prescription, have flooded the market where the cost of much less than prices charged by registered local pharmacies. Okay, so this is what's happening. The drugs, they are being charged a very, very low price as compared to the pharmacies. This is how these people are making money. So MCAZ spokesperson, Mr. Richard Rukwata, said sex enhancers and other prohibited drugs were hazardous to health. So these are the drugs that are really flooding the market. And these guys, I don't know if we should call them drug dealers, they're really making money out of those sex enhancers. So
can I also click again?
Don't do that.
Okay, all right.
Don't you dare do that.
I'm not doing it. I was just about to.
Actually, I want to burn you. Say what you wanted to say. Say what you wanted to say, so that I can really ask a follow-up question.
No, but sex enhancing drugs, they're now all over. Sex enhancing drugs, they are now all over in Harare. And you can literally just buy them the same way you now buy your tomatoes, your onion, you know.
Yeah.
So those ladies, when you see them in the streets, they'll be having a pack of onions, a pack of tomatoes, a pack of fish. There are fish selling in the streets. And also, she also has an open pack of sex enhancement drugs. That's a story for a different day. Kosafa slams Zifa, Chiango stays. as region boss or as regional boss. I'm sure that's what they're trying to say. Yeah. The Zimbabwe Football Association has bid to recall Philip. We spoke about this yesterday.
Yes.
Bid to recall Philip Chiangwa as COSAFA president. Did a break call after the regional bloc told off the local football governing body in the strongest terms. ZIFA president Felton Kamambo has launched a daring move to recall Chiangwa as COSAFA president after accusing him of causing confusion in the Warriors camp during the 2019 African Cup of Nations final in Egypt. However, COSAFA General Secretary Sue Somstens, in a letter sent to ZIFA Chief Executive Officer Joseph Mahmoud, said denounced ZIFA for dragging the regional bloc in a purely domestic issue, which must be handled internally. You can't then try and fire COSAFA president because you don't like him as a ZIFA president in Zimbabwe. In short, that's what they're saying. I don't know if these guys have ever read the constitution of COSAFA to say that once somebody loses his presidential candidate from ZIFA, does it necessarily also mean that he seizes power to become the regional leader? Because he was elected COSAFA president because of ZIFA, true, but you don't need to be a local body president for you to be a COSAFA president. So I'm sure that's the technicality where they lost this story from. You know, if I'm to say. So I think just before we call it a wrap, we're about to open up our lines and let's refresh you guys one more time again. We're going to run a video. We're going to run a video again. That's going to be center of our attention. Also, we're going to be reading comments. I don't know if you have any comments from our viewers that are watching us live. We're going to be reading comments first, and then after the comments, we are going to be running a video that is really disturbing, if you ask me. Coming from developments that are actually happening in Bulawayo, where we saw scores of people besieging the Bulawayo City Council, saying that they do not want these Shona guys to be running or leading Bulawayo Council. They're saying you're sick and tired of this. Mnangagwa and Shamisa should respect us as Matabeleland, and they need people that represent them. It's a very disturbing story that has been going on through. So I honestly I find it a bit disturbing, and it sets a certain precedence to say where are we going to be going as a country. If we're going to take that and accept that to be the norm, what does it mean? Are we only going to be having Ndebele people at leadership only in the Matabeleland? Should we then fire, ban, and expose any Ndebele person who was at power or at leadership in Mashonaland, Harare, Midlands, Manicaland? That should we apply the same rule as well? I think this is a very, very dangerous statement. So one more time again, guys, we're going to run this video, and then we're going to read your comments, and then we're going to open up our lines. Please get to call us through. Of course, do not do. Can there be a WhatsApp call? Could behind the scenes as well. Of course, you can also do a WhatsApp call. You've been saved by the bell right there. Okay, crossing over to you. Let's get to watch this video one more last time again.
Some Ndebele-speaking residents of Bulawayo say they have been long marginalized by the Harare government and won't allow a Shona-speaking mayor or deputy to run the city council. They have protested at the city hall, demanding their grievances be met.
Isikhodlo sakamthokazi samandebele akungeka kube the chief yesishoneni koBulawayo.
But are you not the one who voted?
We didn't. There was a lot of rigging. Let me tell you a fact that Shamisa boy is a fool.
But
he's the one who did all this. We're not 50 panda. We know it.
Solomon Muguni was elected as mayor and Tinashe Kambarami as his deputy. Chabalala says President Emmerson Mnangagwa and opposition political leaders have no respect for the people of Matabeleland, and it's a high time they listen to them.
What we want is for the shoulders to go back to the benches and start thinking about the Mandebeles. The only best thing which I can advise, which I miss, Mnangagwa, I advise him.
Political activists say the people of Bulawayo have a right to express their dissatisfaction with the caliber of their leaders. They should not be accused of waging a tribal war.
There is no tribal wars in Bulawayo. There are tribal discussions and tribal discourses throughout Zimbabwe. It is wrong to limit these things to Bulawayo. These things are happening everywhere, and it is because we live in a country that has got so many unhealed tribal wounds, and if we continue to skate around them and tell ourselves that these are Bulawayo issues, these are Matebeleland issues, we are harboring a serious problem in the future as a country.
Bulawayo used it to be the industrial hub of Zimbabwe, but years of economic mismanagement by the Mugabe regime led to several companies shutting down and thousands of workers landing on the street. Some Ndebele-speaking residents of Bulawayo say they have been long marginalized by the Harare government and won't allow a Shona-speaking mayor or deputy to run the city council. They have protested at the city hall, demanding their grievances be met.
The chief, yes,
But are you not the one who voted?
we didn't. There was a lot of reading. Let me tell you the effect that Chamisa Boy is a fool.
But
He's the one who did all this. We're not 50 pound. We know it.
Solomon Muguni was elected as mayor and Tinashe Kambarami as his deputy. Chabalala says President Emerson Mnangagwa and opposition political leaders have no respect for the people of Matebeleland, and it's a high time they listen to them.
What we want is for the Shonas to pop up to the benches and start thinking about the Mandebeles. The only best thing which I can advise, which I miss, Mnangagwa, I advise him.
Political activists say the people of Bulawayo have a right to express their dissatisfaction with the caliber of their leaders. They should not be accused of waging a tribal war.
There is no tribal wars in Bulawayo. There are tribal discussions and tribal discourses throughout Zimbabwe. It is wrong to limit these things to Bulawayo. These things are happening everywhere, and it is because we live in a country that has got so many unhealed tribal wounds, and if we continue to skate around them and tell ourselves that these are Bulawayo issues, these are Matebeleland issues, we are harboring a serious problem in the future as a country.
Bulawayo used it to be the industrial hub of Zimbabwe, but years of economic mismanagement by the Mugabe regime led to several companies shutting down and thousands of workers landing on the streets. Pindai Dube, Bulawayo, Zimbabwe.
Okay, welcome back. So that was the video from residents in Bulawayo who are they strongly feel that they can't have a Shona mayor in Bulawayo, for various reasons. And of course, this was the question that we had posed to you guys. What do you think? Do you think it's fair that a Shona mayor would go, and a Shona person would go and be a mayor in Bulawayo? Or it should be the other way around, or the other way around, and the Ndebele person being a mayor in Mashonaland, here in Harare. So, yeah. So tell us what you think. What do they have on the comments? What do the comments say? Tonio, you've been too quiet.
You're putting me on the spot.
Yes.
Okay, there's a comment here from Kelvin Santana says that's ridiculous to say a Shona should not have a place in Matebeleland. I don't want to sound tribal, but Zimbabwe is for all Ndebele, Shona, whites, colors, albinos, crippled, etc. It belongs to us all. So if we are divided by tribalism, surely we will not reap the fruits of all of our beautiful country. Another comment there from Pesitava says, I concur. He also says, Kiki, take back TV, no bank will pitch up for the party for one simple reason. They will claim they haven't been seeded by the top bank RBZ. Of course, I'm sure he's commenting there about which bank is giving out money. If you know any bank that's giving out money,
because it applies to this.
So yeah,
that's
what I'm through in our comment section, Nico.
Actually, I liked the comment by. Now I can't see any comments. I think if you scroll right at the top of the comments there, you can see a comment by Calvin. He's talking about the surprise that we have right at the end of the show. About the Face app. He's saying that he was thinking that today he was going to see us old. And we do have a surprise right there.
So at the end of this, we're going to show you how we're going to look probably in 2030.
2030,
So we're definitely going to show you how we're going to be looking in 2030. So definitely do look out towards that one, because definitely we're going to be sending you something there as well. So we are opening up our calls. Please get to call us 0719 222 118 if you're calling us from Zimbabwe. 0719 222 118 if you're calling us outside Zimbabwe. Please put a prefix +263 719 222 118.
Old women, please know what you represent. They should discuss the issue without a tribal card. But sadly or unfortunately, our country is so bruised to the core that people really are hurted. They're hurting inside. So, people are still going to be, we are going to be a tribal nation as people stand for various, different things for their different tribes. Anyway, so moving on to more comments, it says, Percy here says, and how is it, Ria? Don't these Ndebele people vote for these Shona guys? It's what's really crazy is that at times, even if I want to speak something, I really am afraid to offend other people, not because it will be offensive, but it's because it's so sensitive. It's like a very sensitive issue, and it's very difficult for my position to actually say anything. But however, I also do agree with you, Percy. I hear what you're saying. They did vote for these people. They did vote for these people in power, and these are actually the Shona people. But the Bulawayo residents, from what I'm getting at, is they feel like it's only a noble thing if they are given Ndebele mayor, their people for them and not anyone else. So Robert says you won't be there 2030. Why, honestly, Robert? I mean, why? So I'm failing to understand why the tribal card though. I still do not understand why people are really pissed, because apparently this whole town clique, that's where it started, remember, the issue with the town clique and the deputy mayor firing the town clique, and then the residents and the councillors saying that it was never in the town, in the deputy mayor's position to actually suspend a town clique. And I think we actually agreed yesterday that it's not in his place. He will, of course, maybe if the mayor is not there, he becomes the acting mayor, but he can't be suspending people in the absence of the mayor. So, there you go. Percy says, ingawani wapedza, these old folks, vanenge vane mawounds egukura hundi, so vakangowana chance, vanotaura nyaya iyoyo. More like our war vets, vanongoti vakawana mukana voisa nyaya dzavo dzekurwira nyika. Okay. Well, I do agree about the war vets, though. Okay, so that's it. What we had for you. Unfortunately, I still can't see our Face app picture on from our technical guys. But anyway, I hope that we will show you tomorrow on our broadcast, during our broadcast. So for me, Nicole Madiwa and the crew behind the scenes, and on behalf of my co-host Tonio will be signing out. So remember to like our Twitter page and follow us on Facebook, and also subscribe on YouTube so that whenever we're live, you can actually just get the notifications there, and then you can join us and we can interact in the show, and you tell us what you think in light of the headlines that will be in our local press. So goodbye and good day.